Hey everybody, Logan here. Today we're doing a Nintendo 64 special. Why you ask? Because just a couple of days before filming this, the 25th anniversary of the Nintendo 64 release in Japan occurred. Makes me feel extremely old. I got my Nintendo 64 for my birthday in, I want to say 97. I think it was 97, maybe 96. I was in the 7th grade, so it must have been 96. It must have been in October of 96 because it came out earlier in the year. But I have a lot of great memories with the Nintendo 64. I have multiple shirts these days that are Nintendo 64. It's on my shirt. And I decided to just go through my collection and see what are the top 6 and runner-up 4. Okay. Games for the Nintendo 64. So, without any further ado, let's get into no more bad jokes, I promise.
Welcome to Red Bandana Gaming, the channel where Logan will show you everything from gameplay to gear. Their crew is here to take you on a journey through every atmosphere. Releases to news, you don't have to choose. Red Bandana Gaming is here for you.
Okay, so we're going to start with the 6th best and then go to number 1, and then I'll do the runner-ups. Why? Why not? Just 6 and 4, okay? I'm going to do the 6 first and then the 4 second because it's Nintendo 64. Okay, just stick with me. Just stick with me. It makes sense. It makes sense up here. So, I decided not to go over games that everybody thinks is the greatest, reviews, scores, critical acclaim. This is games that I played throughout the years that I just enjoyed and I thought were the absolute gems. Some of them you're going to go like, no. This is my top 6 and runner-up 4. I was actually going to do top 6 and worst 4, but I don't think that's good. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just show how great the Nintendo 64 was because it didn't have that many games overall. But it had less than 300 games in the US, 296 something, and 400, 500, I want to say, worldwide. Don't quote me on that. I don't have that memorized. I don't know why. I should, because just a couple of years ago I was trying to complete at least half of the Nintendo 64 library in 2019. That was my New Year's resolution. I got close. Got really close. So since I didn't make it, and 2020 was a bust for a lot of game hunting, I decided to continue doing it slowly but surely. But I'm not calling you Shirley. I'm not calling me Shirley. Get it? Haha. I told you no more bad jokes, but I told another one. Okay, so, all right. Let's get on. Number 6 is... I've got them stacked up down here. I need a little table. That's what I need to make things easier when I show. This is one of my favorite fighting games on the Nintendo 64. And that would be Mace the Dark Age. Mace the Dark Age was a game that came out in the heyday of fighters, in 3D fighters, when they just became super popular. It rode on the backs of Mortal Kombat and whatnot, and Killer Instinct, because when this came out, it was put out by Midway, the same people that put out Mortal Kombat. So it was one of the best, if not best, 3D fighters that I played that entire PS1 N64 generation. And this was really what led up to really good weapon combat before Soul Calibur really, took the reins when it came out on the Dreamcast. But this is a fantastic game. Has awesome characters. It has fatalities like Mortal Kombat, but not technically fatalities. They're finishing moves. Were they called fatalities? But I was never able to perform the finishing ones because it took so much more precision, at least I felt, than Mortal Kombat. And I had Mortal Kombat Trilogy and I had Mortal Kombat 4 for Nintendo 64. So I love those, and I had the Street Fighter games on PlayStation. But this one, definitely one of my favorites. And Lord Demos is awesome character. Awesome character. And Mortals Call. They had great names. Sorry for the impression. If you've played the game, you know that's kind of what the announcer sounds like. So that's my number 6. So yeah, Mace the Dark Age. Next one is one that, oddly enough, before this game came out, I wasn't really much of a Star Wars fan. I was a Star Trek kid because my mom was big into Star Trek. So I watched everything, watched Voyager, and all that other stuff. That was my favorite series, but I got this for Christmas. This is a game I got for Christmas. Not this exact one, but my mom had bought me Diddy Kong Racing for Christmas. And I told her, I guess I hinted that I didn't want it because of how expensive it was. And she returned it and got this game. But then found out that I did want Diddy Kong Racing. I was just saying that because I knew it was expensive and I didn't want her to pay for it. So she went and bought it anyway because of, I guess, how good I was, or my attitude or whatnot, and how I was. But she went and bought it for me anyway and kept this game and didn't return it. And that's Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. No, I don't have this one in a box. I should have bought it. I saw the Japanese version in the box lately. But this game, I sat and I beat the crap out of this game. I beat it the hard way, not realizing there were easy ways to beat, like the ATST. But I really got into Star Wars because of this, and Dash Rendar became one of my favorite characters. So throughout the years, I was always looking into the Shadows of the Empire. I guess you could say lore, and well, it's all. We don't know how things are going right now with the Star Wars and the whole ousting of Kennedy and Favreau taking the lead, which is, oh yes, okay, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this game. It did have its issues, but I thought it was a fantastic game. The way it controlled in 3D was one of the first, I guess, third-person 3D shooters I ever played, and it really got me into Star Wars. After I got this, the next year I think they released the remaster trilogy, the original trilogy on it was DVD and VHS. I think I got it for VHS, and then later I got the DVD, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was VHS that I got it, because back then, still had VHS. And then the next year, I think it was the next year, the year after, I got it on DVD. Then, of course, later on Blu-ray, and then all the other ones. And yes, I did like the sequel. The prequel trilogy. I grew up with the prequel trilogy because I was born the year Return of the Jedi came out in theaters. I was born that year. It was 83. So I didn't get to watch any of those things in theaters, but I did watch them because I bought them. But in theaters, I did get to see episodes 1, 2, and 3, and I really liked them. And I don't care what anybody said. I like the prequel trilogy. So this is a fantastic game. If you haven't played it, one of the best for the Nintendo 64. That's my number 5. Next is going to be, this was a toss-up between number 4 and number 3 because of how much I played them and how much I loved them. But 3 had a precursor to it that I loved even more because of when it came out, but number 3 still took the top spot because of how much me and my friends played it and the customization. So number 4 became Star Fox 64. You're like, what? No, I don't have this in a box either. Wish I did. I really wish I had kept all my boxes. I kept my boxes for many years, and then I had them in the box in the top of my closet. I had like 20, 30 something boxes, and I needed the space, and eventually one day I just said, all right, I'm going to throw them all out, and I really regret doing it, but hey, you live and you learn. But me and my friends would play this. My friend Chauncey, he got this first, and we would always go to his house. My friend Anthony, and Andres, we'd all go over to his house and we'd just play. 4 of us. I'd bring my own Nintendo 64 controller. I think he had 2. And then Andres brought his. Anthony didn't have one. Anthony's brother had one. So, we'd all just plug in our controllers and we'd just play for hours. And then that Christmas, I think it was that Christmas, I got some money. And then my grandfather took me to Target. And I got it. I bought it. I bought it that year with the Rumble Pack. And we had so many great times playing the multiplayer. We'd go 2 players. We'd go with the bots. We'd go with play with each other. This game was fantastic. It was so much fun. And even the storylines rehashed in every Star Fox game. But having the tank and the sub, this was a great game. It was just overall the best of all the Star Fox games in my opinion. I do love the original Star Fox. That's what really got me into the Star Fox game series, but Star Fox 64, fantastic. So there we go. 6, 5, 4. There we go. 6, 5, 4. Now on to number 3, and that is WWF No Mercy. So as I was saying, my favorite was actually WCW NWO Revenge. Why? Because I was a big WCW guy. So I loved WCW NWO Revenge. I loved World Tour. Again, my friend Chauncey had bought WCW World Tour, and I played it at his house, and I was like, oh my god, this game is amazing. And I was aware of wrestling. My dad liked wrestling. It would be on once in a while when I go to his house, but I never really got into it until I started playing that game. And then I discovered after WCW versus NWO versus World, I had discovered WCW Saturday Night, and I had started watching ECW as well. And I was like, oh my god, wrestling! And that's really what sparked me into wrestling. And I've been wrestling ever since. So it's video games, but this. We played so much. We even bought one of I bought a fake belt, one of the toy belts, and then who'd ever win would take the belt home with them. After I bought it, I never lost. No, I take that back. One time I lost, but I won it back in the same day. So we kept doing that, and then it just never left my house. I was like, yeah, I still have that belt too. But that was actually the WCW, the Big Gold Belt World Championship, but I do have that one. And this game had so many great memories of creating characters. We never played with the actual wrestlers. We only played with our own creator wrestlers. And that was what made it great. We put our theme songs, even though they were, other wrestlers. And it was a fantastic game. And me and my friend Chauncey and Anthony would go, me and Chauncey were the best at this. Like, we'd take everybody out. It took 2 of them to take me out. It took 2 of us to actually take out Chauncey. So it was great when we'd play back then. And Chauncey and I would go at it many times in this game, and just I win, he win, I win, he win, and we'd just go back and forth, and we try to spend hours. What a great game this was. A lot of my childhood was spent on this game. Fantastic. Next, the next 2, top 1 and 2, was really tough to decide. So I had to really think about what made a bigger impact on me in the long run, and that ended up becoming number 1. So number 2, GoldenEye 007. Unfortunately, this is not my original copy. I got my original copy one day. I came home from school or from my grandparents' house. I came home, and my mom was with her boyfriend at the time, and they had gone to Walmart and bought it for me. And they're like, all right, since you've been good, we're going to give it to you, but you got to do one thing. What? Clean the backyard. I had to clean the entire backyard, and I was like, and don't rush through it. And I just, perfect. I did everything, and then like, here you go, have fun. And then that was my GoldenEye story. But I used to go to Blockbuster every weekend once this came out and rent this. I can't remember if Chauncey ever bought it. Yeah, he did, but not until right around the same time I got it. So, but we'd still go over each other's houses and we'd play this. And then the four of us would get together and play this. It was just so much fun. Perfect Dark was great. I had Perfect Dark later on. We all played it, but we played this. I mean, it got to the point we were so obsessed when Tomorrow Never Dies came out. We all of us as a group, we went to go see Tomorrow Never Dies. And my friend Andres goes, one for GoldenEye 2. And I was like, good, Tomorrow Never Dies. So this got me into James Bond. My mom watched James Bond when I was young, but Pierce Brosnan was my James Bond, and I think he's the best James Bond, and this is the best James Bond movie, and the best video game. And what? Fantastic. And so many people have great memories, fond memories of this game playing in the Felicity. You're like, what? The Felicity? Yeah, because it was misspelled. And then it was a facility. But yeah, for those of you who know, you understand. But there were such proximity mines, throwing knives. It was great. We'd take proximity mines and throwing knives. And then we'd do the proximity mines on the wall, and then I wait. As soon as he comes in, he says, oh, he sees that you can see a little flashing. Throw a throwing knife at the proximity mine. Boom! Or we take the pistols, boom, blow it up. It was great. So many great stories. Or we just do chops. And the one, like the golden gun rule with chops, dead. It's fantastic. Such great memories with GoldenEye. So that's my number 2. Not number 2 as in ooh. Number 2 as in. Okay, I'll stop. Now, number 1. Ocarina of Time. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In my opinion, one of the best games ever made. It didn't just get me into the Legend of Zelda franchise. I had played Link to the Past. And I played it at my dad's house. But it was good. But this game. I spent hours and hours playing this game, going through Hyrule Field, Kokiri Forest, you name it, Gerudo Valley. Such a fantastic game. Every bit, gameplay, music, visuals. I mean, this was the greatest game I swear I've ever played. There are a lot of other great games. I love Final Fantasy VIII. I love Mortal Kombat. You know, those are great franchises. But Star Fox, F-Zero, Halo, it's nothing like this game. Yeah, I know my tone changed a bit because this game meant so much to me. It took me out of a world that wasn't always nice to me and allowed me to be a hero. Allowed me to be a character that didn't have to rely on others to make it through, and that I was the one doing the saving, and I didn't have to be bullied or put down or insulted. And when an enemy attacked me, I was strong enough to attack back. I know it sounds kind of goofy, but this game meant a lot to me. Not just because of how it affected me here, because it affected me here. And it was one of the greatest gaming experiences of all time, and with that being said, probably my favorite game of all time. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Let me know if you guys have any great memories with any of these games, especially Ocarina of Time. Drop it in the comments below. Now, on to the 4 runner-up, because we had the best 6 and the 4 runner-up because it's 6. Do I really have to explain it again? Okay, so number 4. Now these I actually have in boxes. Go figure. Doom, 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 rush. Doom, 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 rush. Okay. I would always rent this on from Blockbuster for the 64. But when I actually bought it, I bought it for the PlayStation because I got it on sale at Walmart, and it just wasn't the same. Yes, I know this game is on other platforms, but there's nothing better than the Nintendo 64 version. Me and my friends would spend countless hours crashing into each other, knocking each other off, and just doom, 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 rush. That sound, that music, it just stuck in such a fantastic game. I know there's Cruising USA. I know there's a lot of other good racing games. Nintendo 64 had a lot of great racing games, like F-Zero X. But there was just something about boom, 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 rush. I just love this game. So that'd be my number 4 runner-up. And number 3, it was hard to decide between this one and the original, but the original was great. I remember getting it, but Turok 2 was gorgeous for that time. And me and my friends would play it. We had the multiplayer in here with Cerebral Bore, and we'd go after each other. I think the multiplayer is what really did Turok 2 for me. I was always a big fan of dinosaurs, so Turok was one of the first games I got for my Nintendo 64. And Turok 2, and I always had all the Turok games as they've come out. And I've liked the comic books and whatnot. But Turok 2, it was so much fun playing multiplayer. The single player I never finished because all we did was play multiplayer, but it was great, and it was so enjoyable, and it was scary at the time because no game looked this good or looked this realistic, but it was fantastic. Such a great game. That's why that sits at my number 3 runner-up. Now, there are a couple games I'm sure you guys like. Why didn't you say this? Why didn't you say that? Because they're probably in my runner-up. So number 2 runner-up, Donkey Kong. This was, sorry, did I say Donkey Kong? I am a turd. Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing. This is another one I got for Christmas. I got this, as I stated earlier, the same year I got Shadows of the Empire. So I'm not going to go into the story again, but I did get it that year, and I would play the crap out of this game. See, another racing game, another fantastic racing game. I actually thought this was better than Mario Kart. Mario Kart really didn't do it as much for me as Diddy Kong Racing. None of my friends had Mario Kart. I was the one who had Diddy Kong Racing, and we'd play this all the time between the flying and the hoverboats, the hovercraft, sorry, and the cars. This was just fantastic. We'd go after each other. I think my friend Anthony's brother had Mario Kart. We would play it over there, but Diddy Kong Racing was definitely the much better one, and that is a fantastic, fantastic game. Such a classic. I wish we would see a reincarnation of this, but being rare and the licensing, maybe Nintendo can do something else, get somebody else on a team to make a new Diddy Kong Racing, like Retro made the new Donkey Kong Country. Maybe, I wish, but not gonna hold my breath. And the number 1 runner-up, this guy has something to say about it. And now you just know, it's Mario 64. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, I never had this one brand new. One year for Christmas, the Christmas after I got my Nintendo 64, my grandfather bought me this and UN Squadron for Super NES. But there was a pawn shop I used to love to go to. Yeah, back in the day, they weren't as skeezy, I guess you could say, but now it's But back then, there was one that was a real nice one, which is kind of like an oxymoron. But I would go there and get video games every so often. They were dirt cheap. I got Mortal Kombat a little after it released for like $20. And back then, that was crazy. It might have even been $10. I think all the Super Nintendo games were $10 back then. And brand new ones. So, yeah, that was crazy. But he went to that same pawn shop and got me this one and UN Squadron, which are now games that are just in value, just such good games. And UN Squadron is actually in my top of my Super Nintendo games. So there, Mario 64, it doesn't really need any explanation. It is the original launch title for the Nintendo 64, the most popular platformer. What really made Mario what he is today, as in terms of Odyssey or Galaxy in his 3D romps, not including the new Super Mario, with the ones that are like the 2Ds, but this is such a fantastic game. This had to be mentioned, and it definitely in the top 10. As you guys can see, that's pretty much would be my top 10. But we're going to call it top 6 for runner-up. And then there you go. So that's it. That is my top 6 runner-up for Nintendo 64, the 25th anniversary. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video with all your friends that love Nintendo 64 and all your friends that don't. Shove it in their faces, because Ivan Ooze. No, you gotta know if you know. I'm old. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, but head on over to redbandanagaming.com. Check us out over there. Check us out on our spring shop in the link in the description below. I still can't get the merch tray up, but you'll be seeing that soon. You can buy shirts and you can buy socks and phone cases and pillows and all kinds of great stuff there. It would really help us out. And like we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.